All right. Looks like we are going. Levels seem good. So welcome everyone to today's stream. Let's close this out here. And we should be good. Yeah, so I always make sure I've got the chat on. So feel free to say hi, be conversational, whatever you might want to do. I will respond to it. So hopefully the audio is fine. Let me know if it isn't. And yeah, today, this is the first stream of the new year, right? And I was thinking of doing a little Fresco today. So a little bit of sketching and so forth. You may know that I've been doing some different things. At the end of the year, I've got some sort of live chats, like discussions with people. So far, other Adobe education leaders. And I do plan on doing that moving forward here and there. But I also still want to do things like this, right? So doing things in the software. Oops, didn't mean to click on that. Welcome to Fresco. Thanks, Fresco. So yeah, I figured I haven't used Fresco in a while, ever since the Mac stream. So I know they added quite a few things, so I was going to check it out. And also, Happy New Year, everyone. Hey, hello, Steven. How are you? Hope you're well. Somebody asked, what is the function of this software? Do you mean Fresco? Fresco is, you know, if you're familiar with Procreate, it's kind of like that, where you're able to sketch and draw and things of that nature. So that's what Fresco is for. So yeah, let's go ahead and just create current screen size. It's going to work out just fine. And here we go. All right. So yeah, if you're not, wow, it's a lot of brightness all over my screens right now. So if you haven't used Fresco, so if you're new to it, which seems like some of you are from the comments here, yeah, Fresco is basically an app that lets you sketch and draw and paint digitally with a bunch of different types of brushes. So it's got bitmap or pixel-based brushes, like Photoshop does. It has brushes that are vector-based, so very similar to what you'd use inside of Animate or Illustrator. And it also has live brushes, which is pretty unique for Fresco. So let's go ahead and have a look here. I don't know. I don't have like a huge idea of what I might want to sketch. I just want to kind of play a little bit. So one of the things that is interesting is this little guy right here. This allows you to actually create motion from Fresco. So I was thinking of actually, you know, doing something around this, perhaps, since I do a lot of Animate content on these streams and everything, and checking out kind of like the motion settings inside of Fresco and being able to mess with them might be kind of fun. I don't know. So document timeline. Oh, I see. That shows up. Show paths as frames. Yeah, I have not used this before, so maybe we'll do that today. I don't know. So anyway, let's start doing some stuff here. Yeah, the live brushes are cool. So usually I start out with some live brushes, no matter what I'm doing, just to put some texture down, right? So the live brushes right here. If you've never checked them out, you got watercolor brushes, and you've also got oil-based brushes. And they're both really neat. The oils, you know, they blend and, you know, they got texture and they feel like oils or acrylics if you're used to painting, you know, on a canvas, right? Watercolor, super cool. So just as a demo here, let's just get a watercolor round detail, change the color to it's a nice blue color here. And then if I, I've got a really tiny, there we go. Wow, it is full of ink though. Yeah, so if you look here, as I'm kind of drawing, you can see how it's reacting, right? And if I go through and use another color, and I intersect them, right? So you can see here that they do blend together. And, there are settings for these things too. So if we look at here, the details, we've got angle, spacing, scatter, shape dynamics, pressure dynamics, and velocity dynamics. So there's lots of different stuff you can do with the watercolor. And you can also go in here and adjust the water flow. So if I wanted the water flow to be greater, so more water in my brush, I can adjust that up. And also if you use this little modifier right here, you can actually paint only with water. There we go. So I'm just laying water down, and the paint that I have already laid down there is sort of leaching into the water, right? All right, so I actually don't want to do anything here, so I'm just going to hide that layer. Let's take this out here and create a new layer. In the new layer, I just want to have a basic sort of brownish tan color. So it's not just completely white, right? And I'm going to make it pretty big, go 512. Water flow, I don't need it super high. And just gonna paint over this. Actually, let's get that water flow up. 60 might work. Yeah, so how's this different, right, from doing like a, what would you call it? Like just a shape, right? You might be like, well, why not just put a shape over it? If we do it this way with the watercolors, we've got a bit of texture there. We've got a bit of stuff going on, and we can make deviations in that. So if I want to darken it in places, I can definitely do that. Let's pull the flow up a bit. And of course, I'm using a pencil here. So this is an iPad I'm doing this on. But you could always just use your fingers too. So you can do finger painting inside of here. So yeah, so you see, just adding a little bit of difference here, giving it some variance. And as we saw before, I can always go and move that guy over there. I can just add some water to it in order to let it sort of blend in a little better, right? So just blending these colors in. And Fresco has blend modes too. So you could always use Fresco's blend modes on different layers to go through and composite this stuff. But I'm just kind of throwing down a bit of a background texture here. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's what I'm looking for. And let's see. So I'm thinking, what do I want to draw? I was thinking horses. And maybe I'll switch to, so I don't want to use watercolors for the whole thing. I just want that for the background. So let's go ahead and do that. And I don't know. Let's go black. Do sort of like a charcoal. Is that what I have, charcoal? Sketching right now. Let's go to charcoal. Just plain old charcoal pencil right here. And you can see there are a ton of brushes inside of Fresco, and you can add more. You can add any of the brushes that you would use in Photoshop or anything else. So again, let me know what you're up to in the chat. I always like to hear what other people are working on. Seeing that this is the new year, I've got a lot of plans personally for this year. Take my flow up. And I hope they all work out. So let's see here. I always like to do like a quick test. That's pretty good. You know, I don't know. Maybe I should do a vector brush. Pressure is sometimes a bit weird, so you can change the pressure of your stylus. But I find it's really strange. Like, I find that, you know, this test area that we have here, actually, you know, things lay down a lot better than... Yeah, that's really rough. Than what actually happens inside of here. I don't know. It's kind of close. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna do like a rough horse skull, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get it pretty good first try. Maybe it'll need a little bit extra, but I may use this particular layer as sort of a test layer, and then create the actual sketch over that, using it as a guide, right? So, a skull of a horse. And the thing is, like, I don't quite know what, you know, I don't have a reference in front of me. I don't have an actual horse skull right here. But we'll do what we can. And, you know, we'll just build up on it. Maybe I'll just I'll use this as a reference. Yeah, so I haven't scheduled anyone yet for a chat, live stream chat like we've been doing. If you want to check out some of those replays, they are available. You know, in my live stream section of Behance here. But yeah, I haven't really scheduled anything yet, just because of the holidays and everything, and you know, people are getting back to it, right? So, for instance, at my university, we are we're starting next week, so next Monday. But we are starting remote for 2 weeks because of a massive fire that we had here in Colorado. Burned like 1,000 homes. Completely destroyed. And then even more that are just kind of damaged. Pretty awful start to the year for a lot of people. But yeah. So anyway, instead of having like 30,000 students showing up to campus, while people still don't have homes to go to and everything, we've delayed in-person return for 2 weeks. So I'm starting remote, and you know, I was very much looking forward to doing a completely remote, a completely in-person semester, because I haven't had one of those since 2019. But I completely understand why we had to do those, you know? I'm not really sure how much this looks like a horse, but I'm gonna just keep going with it. Because you know, it doesn't have to be completely accurate. It looks more like a bird skull than a horse, perhaps, which is okay. And let's make that eye a bit, I don't know. That eye is huge. So something else you can do is you can select, right? Just drag a selection around here. And at that point, we can transform. Make this eye a bit smaller. There we go. That looks more like a appropriate sized eye, right? Oh, cancel lasso. Deselect. Done. Cool. Yeah. Skull monster. Nice, Vikram. Yeah. And, you know, I like to use a number of different layers sometimes when I'm sketching stuff like this, just because just the ability to undo stuff digitally, right? So I was starting this out as a horse, but skull monster, yeah. Maybe we do a skull monster instead. That is too big. You know what? Let's mess with my brush a little bit here. Or my pencil, rather. I mean, they are brushes. But I don't know. And charcoal's messy, right? So I'm just looking at it, I'm like, this is too messy. But that's kind of the way charcoal works. So I guess you can't be too picky about it. Yeah, I used to use real charcoals, right? So this is, you know, I mean, it's nice to be able to do things in a digital way like this, but it's also just kind of weird. Because it's like, you know, there's this like unrealistic way of doing it. Like if you screw it up, if I was doing this with real charcoals and I screwed something up, you know, it's not a huge, it'd be a big deal, right? I'd be like, well, you know, I could try to fix it, whatever. Maybe I'd be able to fix it or like cover up my mistakes, but yeah, there'd be mistakes. And sure, there's mistakes here too with digital, right? But it's not as punishing. It's a lot more forgiving when you go through and do things digitally like this. There we go. That's more what I'm looking for. And you know, if you've never done stuff like this on an iPad or any other digital drawing surface, right? You know, being able to actually put your hand, right, this part of your hand, on the device, it makes a big difference in what you produce, I think. Sometimes I try to do it without actually touching the device, and it's never quite the same. It's never quite as good. The result, I mean. Oop, get that guy out of there. Get out of there. yeah, so I'm trying to just get back into things here. Like I said, you know, I haven't scheduled anybody for a chat yet, but those will be coming. Probably not next week. Next week I have a dental appointment, cleaning. So, and the cleaning is at the same exact time that I usually stream. So, because of that, I wouldn't want to schedule another person to have a discussion with and then just not have that timeliness, right? Because it's always something asking people for their time. And I want to be... Oh, hey, got an email. Yeah, I like those teeth. They're coming out nice. And now I'm feeling like maybe I should have used that initial... And this always bites me, you know? I should have used that initial idea that I had of, you know, actually having the initial outline of the skull be, you know, a separate layer. And it is right now, somewhat. But, I don't know. I mean, I could... I don't know. That's part of the process, right? You're like... I like both of them together, though. It's fine. Do you all talk to yourselves when you're reading? Sometimes I feel like this is what Behance is, you know, with live streaming. But I'm excited for Behance and for this particular program. So I'm a featured educator with Behance, as it says there. And that means I was invited by Adobe to stream as part of one of their education initiatives, right? And it looks like this year we might be stepping things up a bit. So that has me excited. Because, I mean, it's a lot, you know, to schedule stuff and to think of stuff to do each week. But, you know, lots of us would be doing things anyway. So it's not a huge ask for us to do things. But more support is always welcome. One of the things that's pretty cool about Behance and this platform, live streaming, you know, even though it is owned by Adobe, they don't really dictate, you know, they don't force you to use, my iPad is all over the place here. They don't force you to use their software. Like if I wanted to stream on, you know, something else, I could definitely use other creative software to do that. But I do specialize in Adobe software, so I tend to always gravitate toward it, even with a choice. Everything except for audio, really. So with audio, You know, I've used a lot of stuff over the years, and you know, Audition's fine, but it's for the type of work that I do with audio, it's incomplete, right? Usually I close my email program when I do these streams, and apparently I completely forgot to do so right now. So let's go over to my dock and quit out of that. There we go. Now we won't get those little ding-dings anymore, right? This guy's coming out pretty good. Yeah, so what we'll do, I mean, I do still want to do like a little bit of play with the animation part of this. So once I get some more details down on this guy, maybe we'll do something really simple. Like just have his... like just have his eyes blink. Something very, very simple, right? Just to see how the animation capabilities of Fresco work. Of course, you can take stuff like this into something like Animate if you wanted to do, you know, some more intense, more controlled animation. And I actually have a couple of replays on doing this, so I can't remember when I did this, but I got a couple things in the replays where, you know, I draw something inside of Fresco, and then I pull that drawing into Adobe Animate, and I rig it, and then I animate it, which is fun stuff. So if you're interested in seeing something like that, again, check out the replays, because they'll be there. You know, it's always fun, sort of course, being away and having some time off, but it's nice to get back to sort of the usual day-to-day stuff every once in a while too, as we go through here. Although I know a lot of people are just like, no, just give me months and months of break. I'm not one of those people. I need stuff to do. I like to feel productive. I like to create. And I plan for this year to be filled with new projects, the completion of older projects, and so forth. Yeah, the most recent stuff, I don't like that. Undo. The most recent large project that should be out shortly has to do with Adobe Animate. Actually, I got a couple around Animate, right? So I have, with lynda.com, LinkedIn Learning now, updates to my major Animate pieces with them. So I've got the Adobe Animate Essential Learning, or Essential Training rather, on LinkedIn Learning, which they've got my updates for the new version of Adobe Animate. And those should be going live pretty much any day. I've had them for a bit. So I'm guessing the editing is going to be finished pretty soon. And they'll be published up there and updated. But I also have, you can see above my photo there, I have a book coming out, Adobe Animate 2022 for creative professionals. And that's coming out on the 14th of this month. So 10 days from now, actually. Pretty cool. And it's big. It's 464 pages in length. So it's the largest book that I've written by myself. I've got a book that I wrote with Tom Green on Animate, and this was a number of years ago. It's got some cool content in it. Ooh, I erased. I didn't mean to click my eraser there. So yeah, it's got a lot of cool content, but I can't remember how long that book is, how many pages. But yeah, it's mostly Tom's stuff, right? I helped, but it's Tom's book more than it is my book. So check out the book by myself and Tom Green. If you're interested in Animate, check out my new book if you're interested in Animate. Either one's going to be good. They're both great little books, or larger books, really. Yeah, I'm really happy with it, though. And if you want a smaller book on Animate, I've got a book with Peach Pit that is directed toward the ACA exams. So this Adobe Certified Associate exams. They've been rebranded last year to, instead of ACA, it's ACP, which stands for Adobe Certified Professional, I think. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing. And I had some time this past year contributing to the exams and, helping Certiport out with those as well. So those are updated all the time. Yeah. It's like my iPad is completely different from what's being shown on the screen here. There we go. One thing I've been doing, which has been fun, is I've gotten into baking a bit again. And by baking, I mean bread. Sort of like classic, rustic kind of breads. And I've tried out some new techniques over the break, which have been pretty fun. And I've got a little poolish upstairs just waiting for me. I'm gonna do some bread baking today after this, and got a couple other things that I have going on. Got another little meeting. Noontime my time, which is mountain time. But after that, I'm gonna bake some bread. The thing I look for, and probably most people look for in bread, I like a nice, airy, open crumb to my bread. I like it to have a sort of like a strong consistency, It's like you bite it. It's very chewy. I like a nice thick crust. It's definitely things I look for in bread, and especially when I'm making it, right? So you buy bread and it's not so great. Well, that's too bad. But if you make the bread and you spend all this time and it's not great, then it makes you feel bad, you know? So you wasted a lot of time. So hopefully, hey, my ruler. That is a disadvantage of digital, right? You by mistake turn things on and off and activate the eraser, activate the ruler, that sort of thing. He's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and color him. So I'm gonna create a new layer just right under there. Let's do the teeth first. I want the teeth to be a kind of yellow color. And you know, for something like this, I mean, we could use watercolors for it, right? So I'm gonna create these colors behind other stuff we're doing. So let's use watercolors. I want to make the teeth sort of yellowish brown. I'm going to take that water flow way down because I don't want it to go all over the place, right? And after I finish coloring, that is when we're going to go and have a little fun with the motion design. I'm going to make his eyes blink. So I'll make like a red glow to the eye. And just have it sort of flip on and off. Right? Let me check the chat here. Nothing much going on with this chat. So if you just joining, welcome. Feel free to say hi. Let's see how that looks. Oh, I don't know. That's not that great looking. That'll do it. Yeah, so again, I'm just using watercolors to do this coloring step. And I've just got the water flow very, very minimal. It's like if you're using real watercolors and you just sort of like, you know, just didn't use a ton of water. You just load it up with the watercolor pigment. Not looking bad. Let's make this a little more brownish reddish. And we should use, yeah, there we go. Let's increase that water flow though. So I just want to add some dimension to different pieces of this, right? So a little bit there, a little bit around the teeth here. Love undo. Undo is a 2-finger tap. What a nice horse. Actually, we haven't given this a name yet. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna call it horse. That's fun. All right, so there's our horse, right? So let's go ahead and check out this this new feature here, which allows you to create motion. Click on that, and let's see what we got. I'm gonna have to add. Oh, is that how they do it? So it looks like it's by layer. So you can see here. Oh yeah, check that out. So as I click each of my layers, it shows me frames down here with those layers. So what I want to do is create a new layer probably. So I've got frame 2 here. And yeah, let's use a pixel brush. Ink spread. Ooh, hey guy. Maybe 600 is a little big. There we go. Add another one. Add another one. Another one. Yeah, so if you're used to doing stuff in Animate, it's like a frame by frame animation, right? Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Well, what else could we animate here? Anybody have any ideas? Let's change your settings too. Oh, look at that. This is actually pretty cool. If we do 20 frames per second, and then let's stop that now. Add a couple of empty frames at the end here. There we go. That's pretty good. So yeah, anybody have any ideas for other types of animation here? Let me know. Else, I think this is just about done. Pretty cool. Let's add a little bit in there like that. Fun. Oh, you know what? Well, I don't know. I was going to say, let's put a little, he's just floating there, right? Let's add another layer and just put a little, like a dark rake or something like that. Let's see here, pixel brushes. I got some rakes. Rake grit. Let's give that a shot. Oh, wow. Too big. There we go. That's, oopsie. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. And we can always change the opacity of this layer if it's too dark, which I think it is a bit too dark right now. We can always change the flow too, though. So the flow is like how much is on the brush, you know, when it comes to these types of brushes. There we go. Look at that. And, oops. Undo is just wonderful, isn't it? All right, so let's go ahead and we are going to just take that opacity down. Or we could always do a blend mode too. I don't know. Let's see how it looks. Ooh, that's interesting. Having it red. Linear burn. Let's do a linear burn and take the opacity down. What's everybody think about that? Coffee's gone. Make background horror. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of the nice things you could do, right? So we could go through and, you know, let's add an extra layer right here. And I'm sure there's something we could do to put some blood spatters or something on here. I'm all for that. Let's see here. Ink. Oh, that's the wrong kind of ink. I'm thinking like FX, I think. Yeah, so ink stains. And let's make it red. Like real red. Not that red. Not like a... There we go. Like a crimson. That's too much. Oops. Didn't mean to undo that last one. It's gonna redo. Lots of times subtlety works a bit better, right? I don't know about that. Let's try some blend modes. I don't know. Oops. Hey, guy. I'm gonna turn off the visibility or what? That's weird. The visibility's off, but it's still showing up. That's fun. I think it's too much. Really. I could always just make 2 different versions of it, right? looks a bit more intentional. It's always like a fine line with stuff like this, you know? Hello, welcome, Indonesia. So, what time is it where you are now? 'Cause that's pretty far away from where I am in Colorado, in the U.S. United States of America. Woo! Yes. All right. See, the thing is, you get to a point in something like this, and you're just like doing it over and over again, you know, and you're just tweaking and tweaking and tweaking, and the danger is that you tweak a little too much, you know. So I think I'm gonna call it quits here. Let's go ahead and share this to Behance. It's one of the things I really like about Fresco, is just being able to easily get stuff up there, you know. Let's go ahead and, oh look, I can start streaming if I want to, but I've got this set up, so I'm not gonna do that. Publish and export. I want it as a Behance project, if you please. Nice horse. Title, horse. I love that. Oh, so 50, oh, so it's like, that's like right after midnight, like 53 minutes after midnight. Very late. Yeah, I used to stream late here all the time, which was always very fun. But it's sometimes you don't want to stay up that late, you know? And on times that you don't want to stay up that late, then it's not so fun. So that's why I moved to mornings here in Colorado. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and publish. Boop, 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 boop. There it goes. Boom. Your work is live. Nice. There's my horse. So yeah, happy horsey new year to everybody. This was fun. I'll be back here next week, and we will do something else. I don't know what exactly. That's one thing I do want to do, is not plan things so much this year. But, you know, we'll see. Oh, you know what? I wonder if, so I just published this to Behance, but I had animation in it, so did it publish the animation? Check that out before I sign off here. Let's go to my Behance profile. There we are. And if I go to work, it should show up in here. There it is. Horse. Yeah, it just saved it as a... That's okay. But let's close this out. I wonder... So motion... There we go. This is what we got here. So motion, you can choose MP4, you can do a GIF, ping sequence. It's too bad you can't actually do... It's too bad you can't actually do, you know, publish straight to Behance with motion content, but that's okay. It's a small thing. You can always do that. Happy Horsey New Year. Thank you. All right, everyone. I'm going to call it. Been doing it for an hour, so that is usually all I want to do these for. I don't want them to be very prolonged. I'm not a 2 or 3 hour stream type of guy, so yeah. All right. Well, everyone, I wish you all Happy New Year. Happy Horsey New Year. Hopefully your year goes better than this horse here does. So, thanks all.